So Apple has launched new Siri AI, which is working onto the foundation model of Google Gemini. Now it's a complete new assistant of Apple working in the background for iPhones, iPads, Mac OS, and etc. etc. But where does it stand when we compare it to Google Gemini? It's still running with Google Gemini Foundation, but we are not sure that would it able to beat Gemini or it stand quicker in front of it. Let's talk about it. So we know that Apple has launched new Siri Gemini, a complete new redesign of Siri, and now in the sense Google has also done their I/O, and we have seen a lot more of the update in terms of Gemini. Now comparing both two individual is now perfect time to do so because both are running onto a same fundamental model as well as they are coming up with new functions and functionalities. So first thing is intelligence and reasoning. So Gemini has been one of the strongest in terms of overall reasoning, coding, research planning, and complex conversations for years. In terms of comparing it to ChatGPT, Codex, or Claude, or any kind of Anthropic you compare out there, they are still working behind them, and they're working in a great manner. They're still good in coding, reasoning, and everything, etc. So Apple is kind of a bit lacking that thing, but Apple is not made for it. In the sense, the new Siri AI is not made for it. It's not made for coding or anything like. It's a personal assistant of mobile, which it should be. It should not jump onto the background of coding or anything like that. So it's completely fine there. But in sorts of intelligence term, we can arguably say that Gemini is still the more intelligent, and we see that Androids are still coming up with Gemini, and that Gemini would be having every individual feature, including coding. So if you compare to the assistant one, kind of Gemini wins in this intelligent race because they involve all the things we require, including coding and reasoning. Gemini can also hold more longer conversations compared to Siri, and they can also contextualize the understanding of what you're asking it to it and the real world data according to the timing on what you're searching, the place you're searching, and overall data. Gemini collects is faster than compares to the Siri. One more thing, that the search limit for the new Siri AI is just the 4 searches per day. Like if you wanted to search or complexialize all the individual thing coming up together, summing up, like calling, texting, asking something to new Siri, there would be only 4 questions you can ask, 4 follow-up questions. After that, it's just the complete limit for that day. In that sense, it's kind of bit making new Siri unusable because definitely people will be asking more questions over time with Siri, and they are not fulfilling that. So in terms of Gemini, that could be fulfilled every individual time. There's unlimited time of questions you can ask to Gemini, whether that is onto the contextualize of Google searching or visualizing something. You can actually ask it anything, anywhere, anytime, without any limits, and Siri lag behind it. Now, the second thing and the most important thing about an assistant should be personal context and device integration. Now, in this term, we know that Apple has not integrated Siri well into the iPhone, but now they have. They have analyzed every individual thing, and now Siri can manage your calendar, your docs, your file size, messaging, calling, all at a time. And Gemini could do that same. But in terms of, we know that Apple's integration with their iPhones are considered the best, and it works best for the iPhone and their whole device ecosystem. So for the ecosystem's sake and the personal context and device integration, Siri wins this race compared to Gemini. Gemini can do the same thing like texting or anything like that, but the thing which Siri can compare to, like your watch data, supposedly your health training data from your watch, your overall calendar work from your Mac OS, and different other things, your planner from iPad. The thing which Siri can be accomplished as an ecosystem, Gemini cannot. So here, Siri wins. Now, the third thing is privacy and security, which is now the main concern from the time of AI has been popping up inside the local LLMs of in working in your personal devices like laptop and phone. So in terms of privacy and security, Apple has guaranteed that all your data which you search on the new Siri will be accessed only by your iPhone, nowhere else. Not the Apple, which will be accessing your data, not the companies, which is Gemini, in the sense Google, which is an ad company, and ChatGPT. Anyone could not access to those data. You are the one responsible for what you search and your whole history. And in that sense, we know that the Android is running Gemini, and Gemini is partnered with Google, or Google has made Gemini, and it has access to every individual data of yours, and it sells data as well. It gives you the personalized ad according to that. In terms of privacy and security, Gemini still lag far behind, and that is not good, but we know that Google is ad company, so that is what their main business of, and that privacy and security still wins by Siri. Now, ecosystem and availability. Now, it's not about the ecosystem of overall thing like your devices, but ecosystem of all across the application, all services, and anywhere else. So, in terms of ecosystem, supposedly if you want to ask something about a YouTube video, you can do it in Gemini. You cannot do it in ChatGPT. Neither do you can do it in Siri. You can search for a video and it will contextualize that and let it to that part of the video by that link, but it won't search something accordance of that video or triggering that video in searching for new recommendation of that video or anything like that. If you wanted to get information about that thing, Gemini is still the best in that thing. Now, Gemini works with the Android ecosystem, web, Chrome, Google Workspace, and every individual third-party application which you can imagine, as the services of Google is sold by every individual third-party companies. So that's why they have the overall data of third-party. And for the Siri one, that data can be registered. That would be registered ultimately, but that would take some time to register than compares to the Gemini, because it works on the overall three-dimensional third-party services. So they don't have any issues with that. Now, Siri AI is also limited with the newer hardware. We see that iPhone 17 was, overall advertised as the new AI-powered machine, or Apple ground up made by Apple Intelligence, and they're not getting the new Siri update. Because they are, but not the top end, just the basics of all the AI, because they don't have sufficient amount of RAM inside them to carry on all those tasks. So we have seen that only refers to the newer hardwares and Apple-based hardwares, not much of the outer world. So they have to accomplish onto that same hardware level which they are making. So in terms of future battle or the current battle, who will win? So if you're someone who asks about intelligence and reasoning, you might seek Gemini for that. Coding and research, you might see again Gemini for that. If you have device control, that would be Siri ultimately. You have privacy, that would be Siri. App integration on iPhone, that would be definitely Siri. Nowhere else, no one comes closer. And then there are cross-platform users, not the Apple ecosystem, but cross-platform. That would be Gemini ultimately. Productivity, kind of Gemini, because Siri is not made for productivity. Gemini is. Personal assistant experience, again, that is Gemini. There's nowhere closer. So these are the criteria which is filled by both of the individual companies. But I think the overall winner could be decided on the basis of the interest twist which you have in pure Apple or Google battle, what you're considering, Gemini or Apple. So ultimately, I think the new battle of Siri and Gemini is on the basis of rankings. Gemini is 10 out of 8 or something, and Siri is 10 out of 7 or something in terms of overall intelligence. So a device assistant should be intelligent, and it should also be knowing about every individual thing on your phone. So this led that Gemini is the overall winner in this battle, but it could be Siri again, because in terms of the personal assistant kind of thing, Siri wins, but the coding and intelligent kind of thing, Gemini wins. So if you have some other thoughts, you can comment down below. Until the time, keep vibrating just like that.